I love them. They're my favorites. You know, reality television in America had kind of died down, and they've brought it back.
Swapped bodyguards for podcast mics and gave up royal duties for his so-called freedom in California? That's right, Prince Harry. These days, he's more than just a former royal.
Oh my gosh. You guys, do you remember that skit? That one line, I am a delusional made-up princess, deadpan savage. And just like that, boom, Meghan Markle's perfectly polished public image shattered. And not by tabloids this time. Nope, this came straight from the people who cut deeper than paparazzi ever could, the comedians. We're talking viral skits, ruthless TikTokers, podcasters with no chill, and satirists armed with sarcasm sharp enough to slice through royal protocol like butter. One moment, she's royalty meets Hollywood with a Netflix deal. The next, she's a punchline wearing pearls. And Harry, oh baby, he's not getting spared either. If anything, the duo is now comedy gold. Like, comedians are living for this.
Prince Harry and Meghan have barely found themselves out of the headlines. And while their move across the pond to the Duchess's native California was positive at first,
it all started with a spoof, a parody interview where a Meghan double went full-on Delulu. I mean, claiming she gets telepathic texts from Beyonce, that she wants to trademark the word empathy. The internet to it. And the audio, honey, it became instant lip sync material. Every creator was jumping on it. People were pretending to review fake jam they'd never tasted. One claimed it healed their generational trauma. Another said it paired perfectly with the PR crisis. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And the wildest part, the internet stopped waiting for Meghan to drop her next docuseries or speech. They started making her content for her. But it wasn't soft, self-deprecating humor. It was straight up savage satire.
And while their move across the pond to the Duchess's native California was positive at first,
then came the influencers. And if you thought they were going to defend her, think again. They sharpened the damn knife. Because let's be real, Meghan is a mirror to influencer culture. The branding, the hustle, the endless launch of vague lifestyle products. And when she dropped that mystery jam from American Riviera Orchard, oh my God. One day in, and TikTokers were calling grape jelly California caviar. A beauty guru reviewed it like a skincare product. Another claimed it cured royal overexposure. I kid you not, someone's grandma said it tasted like the Queen's cough syrup. There were fake unboxings, fake commercials, even testimonials, and every single one chipped away at that glossy image the Sussexes worked so hard to create. They trademark something, Twitter makes a meme. They tease a new product, TikTok rolls out a skit. Tea towels, frozen yogurt, tequila, artisan oxygen, nothing was off limits. At this point, it wasn't even leaks causing chaos, it was the official stuff. Every trademark filing, comedy fodder. Every vague launch, fuel to the fire. Someone even joked about a Sussex bath bomb that comes with curated trauma. I'm screaming. By the end of 2023, get this, parody clips about Harry and Meghan were getting 3 times more engagement than their actual interviews. Let that sink in. Brands? Oh, they took notice. Influencers were being hired not for promoting Sussex products, but for roasting them. And the satire, it went full cartoon across the pond. Suddenly, fictional Buckingham Palace becomes the new comedy set. And who's waiting there? Bravo royalty. Enter animated Lisa Rinna. Yes, Lisa Rinna. She welcomes cartoon Meghan with a homemade ketchup bottle like it's a royal scepter. The crowd already losing it because the formula was now clear. Sussex hype goes in and mockery comes out. And then it hit DEFCON shade level. Andy Cohen, cartoon Andy, of course, delivers the ultimate Bravo burn. He looks cartoon Meghan dead in the animated eye and says, "You're not a full-time cast member, you're a friend." Oof, if you know, you know. That's the kiss of death in Bravo speak. That means you're basically irrelevant background noise. Meghan's animated jaw drops. She storms off like a real housewife who just got demoted. And let's not even get started on the ketchup bottle meme. Friend of Flavor was trending for a whole week. Meanwhile, back in real life, trademark databases started confirming all the rumors. Jam, honey, dog treats, frozen foods, perfumes, homeware, all trademarked by Meghan's team. But no one, not a single lifestyle magazine had received a product sample. And TikTok? Oh baby, TikTok said, say less. Fake unboxings of empty jars exploded online. Comments like 10/10 for Audacity 0/10 for existing had people rolling. Sussex Air was the next joke. $30 0-cent bottles of Montecito Breeze, and the Sussex silent, which only made it worse. That silence, it became its own character in this drama. Every time they stayed quiet, creators cooked up a new skit. One clip had spice jars labeled "coming soon" with the caption, "waiting for Meghan's label approval." I mean, even fans started flipping because, let's be honest, the content was just too good to ignore. The mockery was winning. And just when we thought it couldn't get more unhinged, it did. Suddenly, satire didn't just live online anymore, it crossed the Atlantic like a royal scandal on steroids, cartoon style. And guess who showed up next? Cartoon Queen Elizabeth. Oh yes, you heard right, in animated form, alive and throwing more shade than a parasol at a polo match. Meghan and Harry, dragging their designer California baggage behind them, show up at the Cartoon Palace. Harry's duffel bag bursts open, spilling jam jars and rejection letters. The Queen squints and goes, "What in the bloody hell is Gorgonstein's?" And then, as if it couldn't get colder, she tells them they can sleep in the exercise closet. Dead. And you'd think it was just a joke, right? But in the real world, whispers were turning into full-blown rumors. That Montecito wasn't as enchanted as they made it seem. That the neighbors were getting restless. That Harry, get this, might be house hunting in Windsor again. Are we surprised? Not even a little. Meanwhile, late-side hosts weren't wasting time. Jimmy Fallon dropped the most savage line yet. They tried rejoining the royal group chat and found it renamed "Do Not Disturb." Ouch. But also iconic. Meghan tried to rebrand again. Cartoon Heart launches something called Gorgonstein's, a gala with no actual charity involved. It's all vibes, no purpose. And Cartoon Queen Lizzie comes back swinging. "They'll have to bury me in this crown before I hand it over to Charles." And bam, she orders them to carry her bags. And this isn't just funny anymore. British morning shows were replaying that skit on loop. And actual journalists, they weren't even trying to be serious. Every royal headline got the meme treatment. Every interview was instantly lip-synced. Meghan and Harry's actual words were being dubbed with fake Bravo clips. They weren't narrating their own story anymore. The internet was. By the time Harry skipped King Charles's garden party, nobody cared why. There were no think pieces or scandals, just jokes. One host casually shrugged on live TV and said, "He's probably busy learning water recipes at Starbucks." Savage. Meme accounts had a field day. They mashed Cartoon Harry with tea bags and chargers. "Does this need Wi-Fi?" One caption read. Another, "Prince of Podcast, Lord of Nothing." The tone wasn't just mocking, it was tired. The public wasn't even angry anymore. They were just done. At this point, Meghan and Harry weren't lightning rods, they were full-on laughingstocks, and that was more dangerous than any tabloid scandal. Because you can fight hate. You can't fight irrelevance masked as humor. Now, if you thought TikTok was savage, just wait for what South Park pulled.
It was a lot to take in, wasn't it?
That's for sure. I honestly, genuinely had to go to her page to make sure it had originated there because I thought it was a parody.
Remember the Global Privacy Tour? February 2023? South Park dropped one of the most brutal roasts in cartoon history. Meghan and Harry running around, holding signs that screamed, "Respect our privacy," while literally starring in documentaries, podcasts, and books. The irony? Chef's kiss. It was savage, it was brilliant, it was unforgiving, and fans, they were begging for more.
Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir!
Now, fast forward, fans are demanding a sequel. They even gave it a title, Respect Our Pregnancy. Why? Because Meghan, in a moment that sent the internet spiraling, posted a clip of her dancing in a maternity-themed setting. And not just dancing, twerking. It was meant to be empowering. You know, womanhood, freedom, all that jazz. But what did the internet see? A skit, material, South Park bingo. Users were already scripting the next episode. One said, "Meghan twerking while yelling, 'Respect our pregnancy' is peak South Park content." Another imagined a live-streamed faux home birth with Harry reading spare between contractions. If it sounds insane, that's the point. They become predictably parody-worthy, which, in celebrity terms, is a death sentence. Let's not forget Meghan's podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, supposed to be her moment, her comeback, her boss woman revival. But what happened? Crickets. The show dropped off the charts faster than Harry's favor in Buckingham Palace. The interviews? Clean. The guests? High profile. The vibe? Manufactured. What it didn't have? Authenticity. And the people felt that. In her farewell episode, Meghan tried spinning it, said she was focusing on her business, but like, girl, we see you. Commentators called it what it was, PR backpedaling, not a pivot, a retreat, and you know who eats inauthenticity curiosity for breakfast? South Park. They live for it. The more the couple tries to craft the narrative, the more ridiculous they look. The TED Talk tones, the power suits, the constant reinvention, it all feels scripted. Look at the comments on Instagram and like they're characters in a reality show. They can't quit. Remember when they were the symbols of healing and rebellion? Yeah, that plot doesn't sell anymore. Not when you're also selling jam and staged vulnerability. By mid-2024, the British public was over it. Americans too. Netflix interest? Gone. Spotify deal? Dead. Meghan's media empire? On life support. But what's thriving? The mockery, the memes, the animated remixes. It's why South Park is trending again, because it doesn't matter how many times Meghan rebrands. As long as they keep playing the fame game while demanding privacy, they'll be cartoon fodder every single time. Simon Brodskin. Remember him? The British prankster? He turned it up a notch. He literally crashed a book launch dressed as Parody Harry and waved around a fake memoir titled Spare Me. Subtitle, How I Escaped Royalty and Got Stuck in a Netflix Contract. Iconic. Even the security guards were laughing. That's not just satire, that's momentum. Because jokes, they roll downhill, and Meghan and Harry are right in the path. At this point, Meghan could drop the most heartfelt product ever, something that actually makes a difference. But the public will still be like, is this a skit? Because satire has overtaken sincerity. She shows up at a women's event in a beige power suit. Classy, quiet, press-free. But guess what? TikTok remixed the speech 24 hours later with fake applause, Bravo cutaways, and cartoon overlays. Comment section highlight? Didn't know the Jam Queen was on her tour. And that's when the podcast joined the roast. By mid-2024, podcasts from every genre, comedy, culture, self-help, had episodes titled Harry and Meghan, the brand formerly known as Royal. One podcast even faked a sponsor ad for Sussex skincare, made with tears of royal watchers. Another warned, this segment is 100% parody. Please don't sue us unless you want to boost our SEO. And it wasn't just jokes anymore, it was relentless. Comedians were now using cease and desist rumors as punchlines. Amy Poehler opened a New York fundraiser like, if I say allegedly after everything, I can say whatever I want, right? Cue roaring applause. Then she dropped this gem. So allegedly, Meghan trademarked empathy, trauma, and the right to look tired in public. Meek, drop. Even comedians who hadn't roasted the Sussexes got deep faked into viral videos that pretended they had. Kevin Hart completely fake roasting the royals. Fans made reaction vids before realizing it wasn't real. That's how crazy the parody culture got. Mainstream media joined in. The Guardian literally opened an op-ed with a mock legal disclaimer warning this article contains humor. Proceed with dignity intact. Their point, Meghan and Harry can't control their narrative anymore because once comedians own your image, they own your first impression. And that was it. The Sussexes were no longer narrators. They were material.
This came after a photo she posted on Instagram of her and Lilibet in black and white, so you can...
At this point, the roast became the show. The jokes didn't need a headline. Meghan and Harry didn't even need to do anything anymore. The public, they just tuned in to see what someone else would say about them. Late night shows, they had full-on Sussex segments, and not because the couple said anything new, nope. They just spin the royal rumor wheel and land on things like Harry opens a yoga studio or Meghan joins the cast of Real Housewives of Monte. The crowd howling, not because they believed it, but because they didn't care anymore whether it was true. It was entertainment, fully. No one's asking what Meghan stands for anymore. Not feminism, not activism, not mental health. The new answers? Oh, wasn't she the jam lady? Didn't she get demoted on Bravo? That, right there, is reputation laundering in reverse. And that, my gossip lover besties, brings us to the final punchline. The story of Meghan and Harry isn't told in royal speeches anymore. It's told in clips, memes, deepfakes, TikToks, and parodies. In Bravo spoofs, South Park sequels, podcast satire, and fake sponsors, in comedy clubs and late night bits. Because once the public stops believing, once the jokes stick harder than the truth, you don't get the crown back, you get applause from the wrong stage. And now I want to hear from you. Which joke made you scream? Which skit totally nailed the chaos? And do you think Meghan and Harry can ever reclaim their story? Drop your tea in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned because in the court of public opinion, the laugh track never really ends. And in the next episode, oh honey, you won't believe what they trademarked this time.